Having millions of dollars means you can drop plenty on the greatest sneakers ever made. While some can go for a few hundred, others are worth millions. Sneakers didn't used to be considered works of art. They used to be just sportswear. Now people are willing to shell out hundreds of thousands, if not millions, to buy shoes that they will likely never actually wear. One man who is largely responsible for this is the one and only Michael Jordan. The Air Jordan brand began all the way back in 1984. That's the first time a shoe was branded with one of those legendary Jumpman logos. This has become one of the biggest brands in the world, with their new shoes going for hundreds of dollars, like the latest Air Jordan 36s worth $185. This has kept Michael Jordan rich long since he retired. Today he's still worth $1.6 billion. Many collectors will drop major money on designer shoes to build their collections. Not many people can say that people will pay them millions for old shoes they used to wear. The shoes Michael Jordan wore while playing for the Bulls have now become works of art. For instance, there's the game-worn Air Jordan 1 shattered backboard that was worn when Jordan shattered a backboard back in 1985. It's said that these shoes still have some of the glass embedded in them, though sold at auction for $500,000. Of course Drake has a high-end shoe collection. He is a guy known for living as stylishly as humanly possible, that and his $200 million bucks. Drake is a true mogul who has his hands in all kinds of business ventures, not just music. This includes designing shoes. He has collaborated with Air Jordan several times over the years, making some true pieces of art. Drake does so through the Canadian lifestyle brand October's Very Own, or OVO, that Drake co-founded in 2008. One of the best of those is his Air Jordan 12 OVO Drake edition that's worth $100,000, though these shoes are nowhere near the most expensive of his many Jordan OVO collaborations. As far as his shoe collection goes, he's got one pair that goes far beyond pretty much anyone else's. That would be his solid gold Jordan OVO Kicks collaboration. They are literally solid gold shoes that reportedly weigh over 100 pounds. He's posted several pictures of them with the caption #these are not to wear. He clearly considers them to be more works of art than footwear. That's probably how he justified spending $2 million on them. They are reportedly the most expensive new shoes of all time. Drake likely made sure they would be. Say what you want about Kanye West, but there's one thing you cannot deny. The man is a genius. While he certainly made some strange life choices in the last few years, that can't discount his undeniable effect on music and fashion. His brand Yeezy has collaborated on some truly epic shoes. His Adidas Yeezy Boosts have been a huge success. Shoes like the Adidas Yeezy Boost 700 can go for $300, and the Adidas Yeezy Boost 350 V2 can go for $220. Ye's collaboration with Nike ended with one of the biggest successes in his career, the Nike Yeezy 2 Red Octobers. These can sell as high as $20,000. They are without a doubt the crown jewel of the Yeezy brand. That being said, one of the most impressive sales the brand has seen was when the Nike Air Yeezy 1 was sold for $1.8 million in 2021. These were the ones worn during the 2008 Grammy Awards. His personal collection of shoes is about as impressive as you'd think. He actually showed off his legendary shoe closet to David Letterman for his new show, My Next Guest. This closet was basically set up like a museum to the best Yeezy styles over the years. You remember Beauty and the Beast, right? Well, for many book readers out there, the film has one scene that features the most coveted library of all time. That's right, the one with the frickin' book ladder. Well, evidently DJ Khaled watched the scene and was like, what if those were shoes instead? Khaled has spent a sizable amount of his $75 million on one of the most epic shoe collections I've ever seen. Certainly the best shoe library I've ever seen. It is a custom-built floor-to-ceiling closet that any collector should be jealous of. The room features a ton of Air Jordans, classic Yeezys, and even Reeboks signed by Jay-Z. His legendary shoe collection has become pretty famous, so famous that people have tried to figure out just how much his collection is worth. Rumor has it that he has over 10,000 in his collection, though not all of them are high-end. That massive collection is rumored to be worth a staggering $8 million. What makes this story even sweeter is that Khaled has passed this passion on to the next generation. Apparently his son is building a collection of his own. That's sweet, but I don't think it's ever gonna match up to your dad's, kid. Comedian Kevin Hart has risen risen up to become one of the most successful comedians of all time. Hart slowly rose up the ranks of the comedy world before hitting it big time to massive stadium-sized crowds. Then he hit success on the big screen, often collaborating with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson on films like Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle, and Central Intelligence. All of this success has brought him $200 million. He has put a sizable amount of this fortune to building an epic shoe collection that is about as successful as he is. Hart has said that his collection is up to around 500 to 600 pairs. This includes buying the same pair multiple times if you found a good deal. This collection apparently includes almost every single Jordan, rare Air Force Ones, and custom sneakers reworked by Mr. Cartoon himself. His favorite purchases are the ultra rare ones. He says the crown jewel of his collection are the coveted Air Yeezy 2 Red Octobers, which, as I said, can go for tens of thousands of dollars. So who knows what he'll find next. Mark Wahlberg is determined to be at the top forever. He got his start as Marky Mark in the boy band New Kids on the Block. Then he spun that career off into a successful film career. All this mogul business has brought him $300 million. Like everyone else here, that fortune has really funded his shoe habit. He has hundreds in his collection with more Jordans than anything else. The most expensive we've seen from Wahlberg looked to be his AJ4 Eminem Carhartts that were valued at over $22,000. Wahlberg's entire collection is worth well over $100,000. He's also added to the art form with his own shoes. They include the Jordan 4 Retro Wahlburgers that are worth a staggering $100 grand just by themselves. Part of that price is because there are only 30 in existence. Don't tell Kevin Hart, or I'm pretty sure he's going to be out $100 grand by the end of the day. Michael B. Jordan has the same name as the biggest name in footwear. So you know there's a lot of pressure on him to wear high quality shoes when some of the nicest ever made have his name on them already. The star may not be a billionaire like the original Michael Jordan, but he still has a pretty great $25 million. Well, clearly this was motivation enough for Adonis Creed to drop some serious money on some kicks. He claims to have a pretty huge collection. When asked precisely how many, Jordan responded somewhat hesitantly. While he claims not to know the exact number, he said that he owned at least 100. His favorites include Jordan 11s worth $225, Jordan 3s worth $190, followed by the 12s worth $190 or 13s worth $135. He's also chased behind the other Jordan's legacy. Michael B. has collaborated with the legendary Blue the Great on a collection of shoes for Coach. These Coach Michael B. Jordan shoes aren't quite Air Jordans, but they're not bad. The C143 runners are worth $177 a pair. I just hope that he skips Michael Jordan's baseball career. No one wants to see that. Idris Elba does everything. He's probably one of the next celebrities that we'll see taking a ride to outer space. He's been in giant hits like Avengers Infinity War, so naturally, he's earned himself quite the fortune. As of the time of this video, all of this has brought Elba $30 million. The man is also a big fan of shoes. When asked just how many shoes he owned, he had a hilarious response. He said, with all honesty, that he could not even guess how many were in his collection. He's also collaborated on some pretty unique designs. Idris and Sabrina Elba partnered with the legendary Christian Louis Vuitton. The team put together the classy Walk a Mile in My Shoes capsule collection. As with pretty much everything else Elba works on, it was a pretty big success. These shoes apparently go for $875 to $3,995. I mean, if Idris decides to move to Silicon Valley and become the next Steve Jobs, I would be 0% surprised. The name Jerry Seinfeld is synonymous with success in the comedy industry. Jerry hit it bigger than pretty much anyone ever has before. His Seinfeld TV show and continuing success with stand-up has earned him $950 million, just shy of being a billionaire. Today, Seinfeld lives the high life and likes to show it off. I mean, he's got a show where all he does is drive around in fancy cars getting coffee with the richest comedians in the world. He may be most known for his incredible car collection, which itself is rumored to be over $150 million, but he also loves sneakers. The dude is the king of that whole expensive suit with sneakers style. His Nike obsession on the Seinfeld TV show has a following all on its own. The show saw him wear Nike Air Moab ACG OGs, Nike Air Jordan 6 Sport Blues, Nike Huarache Purple Punch, Nike Air Jordan 5 Grape, and many of the best sneakers of the 90s. Honestly, it's surprising that there are no Air Seinfelds with a little logo of a comedian with a microphone on them. You might not recognize the name Jordan Michael Gellar, but if you're into shoes, you probably should. He is a celebrity when it comes to shoe collections. Currently, he's the Guinness World Record holder for the largest shoe collection ever. While most collectors are more than happy to keep their shoes in their closets, Jordan has a different idea. What if he opened up this massive collection for everyone to enjoy. That's what led him to creating a museum just for shoes, or as he calls it, a shoeseum. It featured over 2,000 of the greatest shoes ever made by man. It was a brilliant idea, but it proved to be a little too weird to be a success. Eventually, the shoeseum ended up getting sold along with a great deal of the collection. One of the biggest sales were the legendary Nike Moon shoes. They ended up going for nearly $500,000. That alone should have been enough to keep the museum open a little while. There are a pair of sterling silver Air Jordans that are worth $60,000. I think I'd rather have those than Drake's gold ones.